Today we will study about an adverb of frequency. Let's study from the definition. The speaker applies the adverb of frequency to reveal the perspective on the ratio of the actualization as the times that the experience, condition, or action to describe the subject is actualized per the period while the subject exists. The word frequency a premise that an event is actualized in a period. The times that the experience, condition, or action when the speaker intends to convey the frequency. There is a premise that the experience, condition, or action is actualized during a period. The frequency depends on the two factors: the times that the experience, condition, or action is actualized, and the period when the subject exists. The expression frequency is very numerical concept that is able to expressed into a fraction. The times per the period. So the sort of the adverb is determined consistent with the variation of the two factors to decide the ratio of actualization. The period that the subject exists, or the times that the experience, condition, or action to describe the subject is actualized. The frequency means the ratio of actualization depending upon two factors. So when a speaker wants to reveal the perspective applying an adverb of frequency into a clause, the speaker has his own standard of the expected times that the experience, condition, or action is actualized, and the period. The speaker who sets the period as constant, the speaker reveals the perspective on the times sort of the adverb of frequency. When the speaker sets the times as constant, the speaker reveals the perspective depending upon the period when the subject to actualize the experience, condition, or action exists. The speaker reveals the perspective on the ratio of the actualization in a way to specify the definition of the descriptive word with the adverb of frequency. Arrange it ahead of the descriptive word. There are three kinds of descriptive word: a verb, an adjective, and an adverb. About the experience, condition, or action of the subject. The speaker arranges the adverb of frequency to specify the descriptive word. The ratio of frequency is an objective figure that is even signified into a fraction. The times that the subject actualizes the experience, condition, or action per the period when the subject exists. The adverb of frequency reflects on the subjective opinion of the speaker to judge the ratio of actualization as dense or sparse, consistent with the standard of the speaker. A speaker states a clause with the adverb of frequency. Then the speaker describes the experience, condition, or action indicated by a descriptive word in the clause. Then we can think of the perspective of the speaker who judges the ratio of the actualization. In the subjective perspective, once in a week is dense. In another subjective perspective, once in a week is sparse. The ratio of frequency is described into an adverb of frequency with the subjective perspective of the speaker. Let's study the adverb of frequency. The first sort of the adverb of frequency is to describe a verb. There is a clause. I always am. The speaker applies the adverb of frequency always to reveal the perspective on the times that the definition of the be verb is actualized per the period at the present when the speaker as the subject exists. The adverb of frequency specifies the definition of the be verb to describe the existence of the speaker. The present tense signified with the be verb am. We can understand that the speaker exists at the present, even though the speaker does not reveal how long the period that the speaker considers as the present. On our the listeners to hear this class understand that the period to include the present, the speaker as the subject exists. Then the times that the be verb am describes the existence of the speaker are revealed. The speaker as the subject all the time during the period. The speaker arranges the adverb of frequency ahead of the be verb. that the adverb of frequency describes. The speaker emphasizes the definition of the be verb in a way to apply the adverb of frequency always to reveal the degree of intensity that the speaker intends to convey with the definition of the be verb. The reason why the speaker arranges the adverb of frequency ahead of the descriptive word am is that the speaker wants to adjust the intensity. There is another clause that a general verb does is applied. He often does his homework. The speaker applies the adverb of frequency often to reveal the perspective on the times that the action indicated by the transitive verb does is actualized, per the period when the subject, he, of the transitive verb does exists. The adverb of frequency often specifies the definition of the transitive verb does. The preceded specification of the adverb of frequency, the intention of the speaker with the proper intensity by the definition of the transitive verb does. The speaker arranges the adverb of frequency often ahead of the transitive verb does that the adverb of frequency describes. The speaker reveals the perspective on the degree of intensity that the speaker intends with the definition of the transitive verb does.